Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Healing Conversations. My name is Einav Avni. I am an energy healer and alignment coach. This podcast, Healing Conversations for Anything Chronic, really has one main message to bring, and that is of the ability and possibility to heal ourselves naturally. Today, with me is Tom Paladino. Tom, so lovely to have you here. Hello.
Hello. Pleasure to be here again. And thank you.
Wonderful. So let's get started. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm a researcher. At heart, I love to research, and I've devoted my career to researching. So I would describe myself as a husband, a humanitarian, and a researcher. And I want to share what my life, my bountiful life of effort has produced for myself and the world. I want to share these gifts that I have acquired with the world. And the purpose of our talk today is to help humanity, to uplift humanity.
Yes, and I've been following you for a while, and I'm, the benefic. How do you say it? I have the benefits of, being someone that gets the scalar light energy and all of that. But I want you to tell us and tell the listeners a little bit more about that. What is scalar light?
You know,
How did you find it? What is the research about? So that they also know a little bit more.
okay, so again, we're going to speak about benefits and how we can help humanity. And I do that through technology. In specific, I do that with scalar energy technology. I've worked with scalar energy, which is the energy of the sun and the stars, scalar energy, scalar light. And to illustrate, this is the initial energy of the universe from the sun and the stars. So it's not electricity. And
Mhm.
with this energy, scalar light, I'm able to improve human and animal health. And we'll describe that, we'll get into that. But it's all for the benefit of people, and in this case, animals.
Yeah. So tell me, how did you come? How did you come about it? How did you find it? How did you get to know about it?
It was a long journey, to say the least. I'd started at an early age when I was reading about Nikola Tesla, the great scientist Nikola Tesla. And Tesla was the first man to control this energy from the sun and the stars, scalar energy, scalar light. And
Mhm.
since then, I've not only studied his work in theory, but I've developed in practice instruments. Behind me are scalar light instruments. So the key to my work is a scientific process that is repeatable, a scientific process that produces what I call quantum health or energetic health. It's not biological. We'll discuss that at length in the
Mhm.
next few minutes. Why did I do this? As a humanitarian, I saw the promise of this technology helping everybody. It's without distinction. You could help everybody in the world with this energy.
Yes. But help what and help how?
Yeah. Well, Tesla was initially using this energy to light up buildings or light up light bulbs. Now, I've only perfected that to a local level. I work with this energy, this light instrument, to improve human health energetically. It's not a chemical process, and I don't work with people. As the quantum level, as the quantum dimension has it, people can bilocate by way of their photograph. I'm going to hold my photograph up and I will explain. This is my photograph, and it allows me to be in two places at once. That's right, I mean that.
Mhm.
People will email me a photograph, and their photograph represents them. It's teleportation or it's bilocation. You can be in two places at once through your photograph. And I
Mhm.
actually take a person's photograph and I print it out on a piece of paper and I place it in the instrument. That instrument is a local scalar energy environment. It's not electromagnetic. And with that, now we're enjoying this other type of energy, scalar energy. It's not electricity. And it's our quantum field, it's our aura, it's our energy field that assumes that energy. So, this is the easy way of producing what I would consider sound, vibrant health, not with a person, but with their aura or with their force field found on a photograph.
Mhm.
So we're simplifying human and animal health. We're not at the biological level, we're at the auric level or at the spiritual level. It's much higher.
Mm-hmm. So people send you your photos. Do they need to tell you what they're suffering from? Do they need to give you any descriptions? What happens after they send the photos?
Yeah, I ask people not to send me any private information. I don't diagnose. This is not medical sessions per se. It's non-physical information. So I ask people not to send any information as to their condition.
Mm-hmm.
What I've developed with this instrument are three processes, and I'll explain those. When a person sends me their photograph, I can guarantee three protocols or three programs, and I'll explain. If a person sends me the photograph, we have a program called the nutrient program in which we can take photographs. Now, everything is a photograph because a photograph has a signal. I can take a photograph of vitamin D and place it in the quantum field next to a person's photograph. So follow my thinking here. These two photographs will communicate. It's all done by way of information communication. It's not biological.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people who send me their photograph, I will throughout the day download, if you will, or exchange or interpret the signal of vitamin D into the person's quantum field. Per se, this is how I receive my vitamins every day, through photographs of vitamins, not by taking vitamins. Whether it's vitamin D or I could receive, if you will, riboflavin, all of these sessions are, if you will, orchestrated by way of photographic interpretation. The interpretation of riboflavin is sent into my quantum field. The two photographs communicate. So we're not ingesting a vitamin, we're receiving a vitamin energetically in our auric field, in our quantum field. Now that's different. And your audience may never have heard of this process. I understand. I developed this process. Does it work? Yes, it always works because a photograph of a person receives the energy and a photograph of the vitamin interprets the energy. And when you match those two up, there's always an exchange of information. So my work with light is flawless. Working with a light instrument, there's no human interpretation, no human reasoning. The two photographs communicate. Now, if my hostess and I can speak to one another by way of a computer, obviously I'm not in her computer. It's my image. Well, likewise, people send me their image and I place their image in my instrument and I can communicate through the photograph just as we're having a communication through our computer.
Mm-hmm. So I guess the question is, sometimes you go to the, whichever health practitioner and say, for example, they say, okay, you need to have some more vitamin C. But even vitamin C, sometimes you need to know how it
Yes.
reacts or interacts with other things that you're taking.
Yes.
So in your technology, your methods, is there any? Do you need to know what other things people are taking, or is it really finding the way to balance everything?
The energy has an inbuilt intelligence. This is what I love about my work. There's no room for human error. The energy will dictate how much vitamin D or any other vitamin is imparted. Now, keep in mind that I work with thousands of people on any given day, thousands of people. There is no way I could possibly understand their biological needs. I don't. I let the energy dictate what their quantum needs are. And working in the quantum field, there's never a mistake on account of the fact that the energy makes the decision. This is crucial to my work. I want to inculcate this.
Mm-hmm.
There is no human interaction. I do not operate the instrument operates on its own. There's no human action, there's no human interpretation, hence, there's no room for human error. This is the quantum realm in which energy, light, never makes a mistake. Energy does all the work. Now, you can compare it to flying in an airplane. Well, when you're in an airplane, all you have to do is sit back and the airplane will fly 500 miles per hour. The airplane does not need your help. Well, in a similar fashion, this instrument operates on its own. The energy is all-knowing. It's a divine energy. And the divine does not need my interpretation. So what am I presenting to your audience? The easy way to work with people around the world through their aura, their force field. That's what I work with on a photograph. And then the easy and assured administration of nutrients in the quantum realm, in which the, if you will, the amount, if we could actually call it an amount, or the signature of vitamin D is administered according to some parameter, inbuilt parameter from this energy instrument.
How did you understand that this is what it was doing? What was that research like?
I learned this from the Hieronymus family. They were a group of American inventors, and they actually are the ones who initially invented this instrument. My instrument is a modification of the Hieronymus instrument. And for 50 years or so, Dr. Hieronymus was experimenting with this instrument, and he and his wife never experienced an overdose, an overload. They never experienced any type of physical manifestation, such as a rash or dizziness or inflammation. Why? Because a photograph cannot develop a rash. A photograph cannot become inflamed. A photograph does not have an allergy. Now, I'm not saying that to be facetious. You have to think of this in the auric level, or the level of information. My photograph can never experience dizziness. It can never experience high blood pressure. So when you're working at a higher level, you're not subject to the physical dimension.
Yeah.
We're above that. The non-physical dimension, scalar energy, is all information. It's perfect information. Once you downgrade to the biological state, that's when you come out of homeostasis. The auric field, the spiritual realm, is always homeostasis. It's perfect.
That's so interesting. And so you mentioned that you work with people. You have three different things. So nutrients is one thing.
Yes. Yeah.
What are the other two?
Okay. Another process is, just by placing the photograph in the instrument, it receives a great deal of energy. Now, I hold in my hand a light bulb. This light bulb will illuminate when it's close to the instrument. So when I place a person's photograph in the instrument, their chakras illuminate. So I'm demonstrating, if the instrument is strong enough to illuminate a light bulb, it is, then it's going to illuminate our chakras, or our brain waves.
Mm-hmm.
And that's crucial, because this is a chakra balancing. The light, the energy, will balance the brain waves and the chakras. And therefrom, people say that they have sound mental and psychological health. Many people say that they no longer suffer from depression or anxiety. Some people say that they can give up cigarettes, or that they're no longer prone to become workaholics. So what's the point? A scalar energy instrument, scalar energy itself, will balance the brain waves, will distinguish between right and wrong. It actually, I believe, will correct the conscience. It will correct our judgment. Because I've seen so many people give up drugs and alcohol, and there's no way I can ascertain whether a person has a drug or alcohol addiction through their photograph. The energy does. So imagine that in the future, as we, if you will, expand upon this, scalar energy will be used for drug and alcohol rehabilitation.
That's amazing. And then the third way that you have.
And then the third modality, I can match up. I'm going to hold up a bacterium. Now, everything I impart is by way of a photograph. A photograph is a source of light. So I hold up a photograph of a bacterium. This is Streptococcus mutans. Some people say it's responsible for gum decay. Okay. If I were to match up my photograph to this photograph of a bacterium, now keep in mind the energy field of Streptococcus mutans will interpret my quantum field. If I have this bacterium, strep mutans, it will be deciphered, it will be identified in my quantum field and brought to a state of chaos. So this instrument will look for a microbe, in this case, Streptococcus mutans, will find that microbe, that bacterium in my quantum field and eliminate it, bring it to a state of chaos, not biologically, energetically through the quantum field. Keep in mind the quantum field, it gives instructions to everything. It's higher of a higher order than the biological field. Now, after I work with people and I can identify bacteria, viruses, etc., on the quantum field, people said that they feel better. Many people say that their gums are no longer bleeding, or that they no longer have a bad breath, halitosis. Others say that their sinuses clear up. So it appears that working through photographs that have a signature, downloading that signal into the person's quantum field, their energy field, that we can eradicate, if you will, the intelligence of a microbe. We can eradicate the intelligence of bacteria, viruses, fungi, parasites. The upshot is people feel better. The upshot is people said they no longer have the symptoms of viral, bacterial, fungal disease.
And so what does the process look like? So someone sends you the photo, and you are putting their photos in the three ways that you mentioned,
That's right.
the nutrients and the
That's
receiving nutrients, eliminating bacteria and pathogens. How long does it last? Why how, I know that you are giving 15 days free trial. Why what is the question that I'm trying to ask? What is the benefit of doing this daily, and should people really want to do it for more often than daily, or how does that work? I don't know if I made my question clear. Please let me know.
You're very clear. I give away 15 days of free sessions on our website so that people can experience this without paying, without any obligation. I'd love to treat everybody in the world for free, at least for 15 days. And then after 15 days, people have to decide if they've realized any benefits. Now, when I receive a photograph, most of the time at the end of the night, I'll assume these photographs throughout the day where they're actually printed on a piece of paper. Now, keep in mind, the instrument does what you tell it to do. A piece of paper, a photograph of a person, has a signal. It has an energy code. Whether it's my photograph or the photograph of people around the world, it has an energy code. By the way, we're also working with livestock. I've been working with goats in Tanzania. So anything can be printed on a piece of photograph and treated in the quantum realm. Okay. So when I receive a photograph, I place it in the instrument. And the first hour of sessions, hour number one, we balance the chakras. And people say that many people have an experience of euphoria. They have a sense of tranquility by working with them for 1 hour. The second hour, we identify microbes. We have the ability to identify thousands upon thousands of microbes and eliminate them. And then the remaining 22 hours a day, throughout the day and at night, the instruments work at night, we are downloading nutrients into people. Why? Because people need nutrition around the clock. So the remaining 22 hours a day, we download nutrition. Now, once again, there's no human reasoning to my work. The energy does what I tell it to do. If I tell the energy to assemble, to create a force field for riboflavin, it will do that. If I ask the instrument to disassemble or bring to a state of chaos a bacterium, it will do that. So this is the assured process. This is the guaranteed process to create the force field of riboflavin or negate the force field of streptococcus, because we're not working biologically and there's no biological consequence. So there's no negative side effects.
There's just a question from one of our viewers asking, does it matter when the photo was taken? Does it need to be current?
That's a brilliant question. No. Why? In the quantum realm, we transcend time and space. Scalar energy actually is the cause of time. So my photograph is timeless. When I place my photograph in a scalar energy instrument, the instrument always looks at the photograph in the present moment, which proves that scalar energy is a cause of time and that scalar energy overcomes time. If you transcend time, you overcome time. So scalar energy is greater than time. So to answer the question, the age of the photograph doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. And is there anything that this energy can't help with?
To answer your question, I believe that the answer is no. I believe this energy can do anything for anybody. My drawback, my limitation is how much knowledge God will give me. Now, keep in mind, if this energy is from the sun and the stars, that this energy is probably responsible for everything in the universe, that there's nothing that's not touched by scalar energy. So, what my point is this: all of creation needs instructions, intelligence. The instructions of the universe are scalar light, scalar intelligence. So, scalar intelligence is the first cause that creates the universe.
Mm. So what I understand is that you look at the photos, like you said, you add nutrients. You're trying to you're not trying. You're identifying bacteria or pathogens or anything like that, and you're eliminating them. And the elimination means it's instant.
Yes, it is. Thank you. Why is it instantaneous? On account of the fact we're working with information. If it were a biological process, it might take time. We're not working with biology. We're working with information. Okay? As we're having a conversation, we're, if you will, I'm in North America, you're in Europe, but we have instantaneous communication. Well, with scalar energy, you have instantaneous communication in which you can download the information of streptococcus as a signature and eliminate it, remove it, bring it to a state of chaos. You can cure yourself of streptococcus mutans as an energy signal.
So it's interesting for me because in part of the energy healing that I'm using, I'm using something that is called the body code and emotion code and belief code. But the idea is that I connect with someone's, with my client's subconscious mind.
Yes.
And then I get instructions from the subconscious mind what to clear. And in the terms of pathogens, we have two different things. We have physical pathogens, and then we have energy of pathogen.
Yes.
And this is basically what you're telling me, that if I find energy of pathogen, you are basically able to eliminate that.
Exactly. And it's so much easier, right? In other words, once you're working with energy, you're behind the wheel of a car, you're driving the car, okay? As opposed to working with people, that's difficult because you're no longer in control, then the biochemistry of the body's in control. So what is my point? Why don't and that's a great analogy. When you're working energetically, you work with information. You don't work with flesh and blood. It's so much easier to work in the angelic realm, the auric realm, rather than the physical realm.
Mm. Yeah, and I mean, do you feel that? I mean, what would interfere in the in this work if it was more into the physical realm?
Yeah. There's nothing. Let me demonstrate. There's nothing that can interfere with the energy. Even if I hold up a wooden board, the energy will still pass through the wooden board and illuminate the light bulb. So nothing can stop the energy. So as long as people are accepting of the healing, they're going to experience the healing.
Mm.
Be accepting. I firmly believe I'm working with divine energy.
Yeah. So
Oh,
can this? Sorry.
go ahead.
No, I was going to ask. So with your methods, can you also help eliminate things like cancer and other
No,
types?
I cannot. However, I believe it's possible because cancer has a signal, a signature. Cancer can be corrected. If we can correct the signature of streptococcus mutans, then eventually we should be able to correct cancer. So I think that day is coming.
Right. I mean, I definitely understand that to some degree.
Yeah.
That yes, that if it's energy, I mean that's what I also work with my clients, right? That if it's energy, we can change it, we can control it. We don't need to just take it as it is.
Yes.
Um, but
Yes.
so it's interesting that you say that it's not yet, but it is coming. That's very good news.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about results.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's all about results, and thank you for mentioning that. When I work with people, I let people provide their testimony. No testimony is forthcoming from me because I can't prove that working with a photograph will produce sound health. So many people will say, for at one time in my lifetime, I had the symptoms of herpes, and now I no longer have symptoms. I said, that's great. Would you like to share a testimony? That's the key. I only can prove my work through testimonies. And people will send in a testimony. I'll show one testimony here for herpes.
Mm-hmm.
This individual had herpes for a long time, 30 years. And now this individual no longer has any symptoms, and their PCR test is undetectable. No detectable viral load. So I have to start asking, why do we have these great results? People are now, many people say they're asymptomatic. People say that their sinus is clear, that they're no longer prone to excessive alcohol and drug use. Why? What is the cause and effect mechanism here? Why do people who send me their photograph, and I don't know these people, and I don't ask for any personal information, certainly not medical information, why is it, according to the people that I work with, they feel better? In their words, they feel that they're now asymptomatic, that they no longer have a medical condition, or they no longer have some type of biological problem or some type of mental problem, emotional problem. It has to be in the energy. To be clear, I am not a medical professional. I haven't spent my career in the medical field. I've spent my career with non-physical information.
This is really incredible, and I want to know more results, more testimonials that you get. I know that you did some work with AIDS in India.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna share this. We were working with an HIV clinic. We do a lot of pro bono work. I'm gonna show the audience. This is a photograph from Delhi, India. This is the HIV/AIDS community of Delhi, India. The company is called Om Prakash HIV/AIDS Clinic. And we've worked with over 5,000 people at this clinic. And at one time, they were HIV positive. After working through their photograph, nobody in this clinic has a viral load. If anybody had a follow-up PCR test, nobody has a viral load. No one. This is one of the test results from the Om Prakash HIV clinic in Delhi, India.
Mm.
After being HIV positive for years, according to this individual, they have no viral load, and their
That
health
is good.
their health is improved.
What resistance do you come across in your work?
There's no resistance. People either understand and they're willing to try it, or they're not. There's no resistance, and that's the way it should be. This is a new science. I'll be the first to say nobody can prove this. This is all theory. How many people can prove scalar energy? Well, you can't. It cannot be measured. It's omnipresent. So how can you measure omnipresence or consciousness? So as we go into this new branch of physics, I want to be very clear, nothing can be measured. You cannot measure the energy. You cannot count. There's no way that you can count it. So you can't put a mathematical value to it. It's infinite.
Like, you can measure the results, right? You can do
Yes,
research on people that
that's it. That's
coming in with some symptoms and then.
yes, that's it. So we can't use rigorous scientific testing for this because it's never been defined what is scalar energy. It's the energy from the sun and the stars, but that's not broadly accepted yet. And secondly, you cannot measure it. The only thing you could adjudicate is the endpoints, where you started and where you finished up. And according to many people, and again from the clinic in Delhi, India, people are telling me they no longer have a viral load.
Hmm. So tell me, where is the future? According to you.
Well, if Tesla could light up light bulbs at a distance, and I could do that at least immediately locally, then eventually we'll use this energy to light up a building at a distance. It'll be free energy. We'll also use scalar energy as an anti-gravity means of transportation. Scalar energy can overcome gravity. I also look forward to the day where the world works with me to the point I can work with 5-10 million photographs a day. This will be global healing on the quantum level. I could work with easily 5 to 10 million photographs a day. So that's just a foretaste of what is coming.
But I'm just wondering, if we are saying that everything is energy, then why do we need people's image? Why
Yeah.
can we not just send it out there?
Yeah, we do, and you do that every day, and anybody does that every day when you pray. When you pray for the world, your mind is a scalar wave. You broadcast consciousness energy, you broadcast scalar energy. That's what the human mind will do, or the human heart. So what my instrument does by pinpointing, if you will, a microbe, the human mind and the human heart do that automatically because thinking and feeling is a scalar wave. It's scalar energy. So this gives, if you will, by way of analogy, if you can do that with an instrument, then you also can do that with your mind and your heart. So by way of analogy, we have scalar minds, we have scalar hearts. This is the age of consciousness that we're going into. This is the angelic realm of consciousness.
What is one thing that you wish everyone listening or watching would take away from this conversation?
We have scalar capabilities. Everybody's a scalar energy expert. Everybody thinks, everybody feels. When you think, when you feel, it's a scalar wave. Just consider when a thought or a feeling transcends time and space. Scalar energy transcends time and space. You cannot measure a thought or a feeling, but it's very strong. You can't measure scalar energy, but it's very strong. Scalar energy will pass through a brick wall. A thought or a feeling will pass through a brick wall. You can change the future the way you think and the way you feel. I can change a person's quantum field by the way I think and by the way the instrument behaves.
I am part of a group called the Power of Eight. It's you may have heard of it. It's something that started by Lynn McTaggart, and the idea is that when you have 4 or more people, although ideally 8, when you get together and you set an intention, and you all place that intention in your heart, and you just focus on it for 10 or 8 or 10 minutes, then it just it goes out there. You have no idea what you can achieve when you do that. It definitely amplifies just making an intention as an individual, and it sounds like this is along the same kind of
Exactly. It's when you unite in prayer, you can do anything. When you unite and you have a common goal, you can do anything. A family structure is the basic structure of society. When you have a united family, you have a very successful, happy family. When a corporation unites, you have a common goal or many goals, you can achieve those goals. When a church or a ministry unites in prayer and intention, you can achieve so much.
Yeah. And just tell me before we finish for the day, tell me, has there anything that surprised you when you heard back from someone after being
when I first started working with these instruments, I first always work with myself, and my sinuses cleared up within an hour or two. And then I started working with my friends around the world through their photograph, and they likewise told me that their sinuses cleared up, or that they had a pimple that would shrink. And I was just awestruck. I said, this is it. This is it. I've done this millions of times. I've treated millions of people. This is it through their photograph. This is it. It works.
That is awesome. And so in a minute, I'm going to put all of your information, underneath wherever people find this chat, so that they can get in touch with you and follow you on, go to your website and understand a little bit more. And that's where they can also get the 15 days free trial to submit their own photos and enjoy the benefits of the Scalar light energy.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you, Tom, so much. And really, for anyone watching, I highly recommend getting in touch, sending your photos, and see how it goes. It really is quite. It's fascinating, and it works, and it's so wonderful. Thank you, Tom, for bringing this to the world.
My pleasure. God
Thank you.
bless everybody.